Welcome to Thursday night with views from the 22. We got a live show for you guys tonight. So we got views from the 22 live on the scene. Germ So True, Vic Jr., Mo Schefter, Usual Suspects. We got a nice little teaser show for you this evening. And yes, I said teaser. This is your appetizer because we got you coming live on Saturday and on Sunday to cover these games. Hey, man, fellas, we're going to dive into some things really quick, but let's first introduce everybody. We got the scout extraordinaire, my partner in crime, the Roly, but now it's the Stoli, Vic Jr.
Hey, what's going on, man? Just excited for this weekend. Been able to watch some labbing on some of the Redskins. FC Washington. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to clean that up, but labbing some of their work and of course some of the scouting that we did this week. So yeah, no, if it's scouting season, so it feels good to start watching some of these prospects as well as the playoffs, the exciting playoffs. The Browns are in. Happy for that.
And we got the lab rat, Jim Rat, but he ain't Master Splinter, Mr. A. Mo Schefter, my other partner in crime.
Yes, baby. Yes.
To the Batmobile.
What's that song by 50 Cent? Gatman and Robin? Yeah, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that.
Kinda like Siamese twin. Because when we beat, we pull each other in to the. Okay.
As you can see, Jukebox Germ in full effect. Let's get it. We got a lot to talk about, and I know Germ has a great show lined up. So let's roll.
Hey, so True Man, False World, back up on my bullish, back up on the scene. Look, let's do this. Let's start at the top because we don't start at the bottom. The top of the draft, that is, even though their team ain't got a draft pick at the top of the draft.
Oh, Lord.
The Houston Texans.
Oh, Lord.
Switch your highs. What you talking about, baby? Let me tell you something. They have now officially hired a GM without consulting their franchise quarterback after they said they would. The GM they hired is Nick Caserio.
Yep.
I have no words for what I think he's gonna do. I think this is a GM is a show improve thing. I'm not gonna go on what you did before. I'm gonna go on whatever you can do now, or if you've ever been in this situation, the GM is show improve. Considering that you are federally effed up because you don't have very many picks because of the previous regime, I can't really make too much of a judgment on you until probably year 3 or 4, because this roster is handcuffed right now. It's handcuffed for the next 2-3 years. So with that being said, here's the key. Number one, how the hell are you still pissing off your franchise quarterback, knowing that that's the only thing that's getting butts to seats? You can't keep your word on something simple. J.J. Watt had more sympathy for this kid's great season than now it looks like, apparently it seems like, than the organization and the owner. And he's not even the one signing the checks. So not only will JJ be gone next year, if I'm Deshaun, I want to follow JJ. I don't want to be here anymore. We can't even keep our simple word at this stage. The simple word, you're going to discuss with me things about the GM and the head coach moving forward. So, fellas, before I go any further, Mo, what are your thoughts on this?
So, I became aware of this sometime yesterday after I believe it was yesterday. It's been a long week, but shortly after the Nick Caserio hiring, you saw Deshaun Watson tweet, "Some things never change," and I wasn't sure exactly what that was about. But then it came out, like you said, they were going to apparently discuss it with him and whatnot. I think for Deshaun, I'm going to just keep it all the way real. I don't quite agree with his anger in this unless he just wants to find a reason to be angry. Because the truth of the matter is, you don't exactly know how those negotiations went. You don't exactly know what the terms of that situation was. Remember, they tried to hire Nick Caserio a year ago, and the Patriots blocked it. So who knows what exactly happened in those conversations between the Patriots and the Texans, Nick Caserio and the Texans, as to how exactly this all came about. Because I believe his contract was expiring, if I remember correctly. So, and Nick Caserio is a young GM who's been basically Belichick's protege in the front office for the last however many years. He does a lot inside that organization. He runs scout team. He takes reps for the quarterbacks. He does a lot, as well as head that scouting department. And Belichick will tell you he's in charge of the draft. If that's the case, yikes. But like Jerm said, let's start fresh. And there's no doubt about it that this is a quality hire. Now, if they don't end up including Deshaun in the process of who they're going to hire as head coach, then I will 100% have Deshaun's back on this. But for now, I'm looking at it with two basic points. Number one, who knows what happened and how that conversation took place, and maybe they just said, "Hey, all right, we're hiring you." Maybe they couldn't say, "Okay, let me go check with our quarterback if we're allowed to hire you." You know what I'm saying? And number two, Deshaun is probably, if anything, just looking for a reason to be upset because he wants to leave. And I don't blame him on that part.
Vic?
I mean, well, if you said that he was told he was going to be a part of the process, then they didn't tell him what was going to happen, then he has a reason to be upset. He's still a young quarterback. He's still a young player in this league. Has he done enough to have a word in any transactions and anything involving the front office? Like, that remains to be seen. But it's a tough situation, man. I don't know if we're gonna talk about Fitz. I'm glad that Mo was able to, because I know Nick Caserio was a name that I've heard before, but I didn't know the background. So it was good Mo was able to get the background of that guy, of who they're bringing in, and it sounds like a good hire to me. So other than that, I mean, I don't know if you guys wanted to talk about any Fitz. I see on the chat there. They got a couple names, of course. Coach Les, shout out to Coach. He wants him in the Bears. I was thinking Dolphins. How ironic it would be that they send the Texans their pick again, the third overall, just to get the quarterback now.
So
that would be interesting.
Let's have some fun. The easiest thing for it to happen right here in this situation is there are two organizations right now that could financially, draft capital wise, support getting Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them are at the top of the draft. And the third one is also at the top of the draft, who owns their picks. You could literally, if you wanted to, the Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the New York Jets all have the capital to bring Deshaun Watson to their particular teams. Because all three of those teams have not one, but 2 first-round picks this year. Also, they all have 2 other things going for them. They all have deep draft capital. Those are the 3 highest draft capital teams in the NFL right now. So you take those things into consideration, and let's say that you said the Dolphins, you don't want Tua. You can now take this 3rd pick. You can take whatever the pick you have now, which is in the 20s, or number 18, because you didn't make the playoffs. And now you give 3 and you give 18 to this team for Deshaun Watson, and you can include a 2nd rounder next year. That'll get it done.
See, so the interesting would be I see Joe and Ty going back and forth. Would you entertain a situation where if you're the Dolphins, you said, like, you got over the situation quickly and said, here, take Tua, take this 3rd pick overall. All right, this sounds like some Manning things right now, because it never happens. This never happens.
I know it doesn't. We just having fun.
Yeah, take Tua on this 3rd overall pick and give me Deshaun.
Hey, we're talking about Madden. Well, guess what? People started going for it on 4th down all the time because of Madden. So don't diss Madden. I'm gonna tell you this, Vic. That's what I was thinking.
Mo, talk about it. Talk to him.
Germ is you cannot. It was not no analytics that said, "Hey, maybe we should go for it more often on 4th and 1." It was like we got 1 yard to call our best play. We better be able to get it, and that's the reality of what's happened, and that's because of Madden. Just my opinion, baby. Number 2, that's what I was thinking. Look, it's never happened before. Well, guess what? That's why the term unprecedented exists, does it not, Mr. Jeremy Webster?
I mean, this Webster shade is pretty intriguing.
It's not
but
shade.
I look. I am Webster. I am the dictionary,
It's not
ladies and gentlemen,
shade.
because we're gonna use these damn words right.
It's not shade.
Let's
It's
go.
the lawyer in you. I
Unprecedented.
admire.
Hey,
You know that.
unprecedented. Yes, it is, sir.
But
and I appreciate you. But
the only time I don't like it is when we arguing and you start. That's when I gotta take out the thesaurus. Like, sir, please reference paragraph 2, 3.
That's funny.
I mean,
But
the other situation is the cap. I don't know how big his guarantee is, but I know the Dolphins have the cap space.
Hey, Germ. See, this thing about Germ is the lawyer in Germ has been looking at these numbers. And that's why Les said in the comments, hey, Germ, see if we can get it done with the Bears. Because Les said I've been all up in these folks' business. Now, I know all 3 of these teams got cap, and I know exactly what you have to do. You have to trade Deshaun after. You have to trade him. Listen to what I say. You have to just trade Deshaun Watson after June 1st. June 1st, if you trade him after that, guess what you have to pay then? The only thing you have to pay now is what? You have to pay the roster bonus and the other part of the salary, which is his guaranteed money. That's what goes to the other team.
Yeah, but then that's the draft is over by then.
But this is where you can get that can be an issue.
You can just agree to terms.
You can agree to terms on things and then it not go through until later. So you basically tell the team what you want to draft in that spot, and you trade the pick, you trade the players, and you do it all on June 2nd at 12 a.m.
See, that is obviously a route that is more financially feasible. Realistically, though, that's not going to happen because teams are just not going to do that. They're not going to take that type of risk of, okay, we'll take you at your word and then say, hey, by the way, it's not. I mean, again, both those things, your proposition happening is unlikely. What I'm saying is even more unlikely. What I think is simply the most likely is that you trade him. And you asked Vic, well, what about his cap? You figure it out. Whatever Deshaun costs, Deshaun is worth. And that's the bottom line to it.
No. I'm talking about towards the Texans. How much is it going to be toward their cap hit for letting him go? That's going to be the issue.
If you get the draft capital in the future, you deal with it because realistically, somehow, some way, you can figure out a way to get that money off your books within the next year or two. By then, whoever your future franchise quarterback, hopefully you have him in the building, you're ready to build a roster around him, and you got about 3 to 4 years to do it. So it's not out of the question for Houston to get rid of him. But I got simply one question, and then we could move on because we're going to time crunch tonight. If you're Houston, why?
Oh, I ain't trading him. I wouldn't trade him.
No,
I would. I mean,
you're not happy. What can we do to make you happy?
Right. Exactly.
Simple as that.
All I'm saying is, Mr. Third Person here, since with all the hate in the comments, Mr. Third Person himself, Mr. Germ So True, says if a player is unhappy and he doesn't want to play and he got his money saved, like I know Mr. Deshaun Watson does, I would say, hey, get me out of here. Or,
hey, look, shout out to the comments, right? Bottom line, yeah, absolutely. But in the other way, just to throw out another WWE reference, it's all about the game and how you play it. And Deshaun Watson is a baller. If you can figure out a way to keep him or get him, you do it. But you keep him.
No callers, just ballers. So now the matchups for this weekend, fellas, this is what we got. We got the Bucks versus FC Washington. We got the Colts versus the Bills. We got the Seahawks versus the Rams. We got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Tennessee Titans.
Ooh.
We got the Saints versus the Bears. And we got the Browns versus the Steelers.
Oh.
Favorite matchup looking forward to this weekend. Vic, I'm going to start with you.
I mean, I gotta go with the Steelers and Browns. I'm intrigued of what this is gonna end up being. You know, listen, y'all could throw your heads back and all that. This could easily end up being the best game of the week or the biggest blowout of the week. All right, so I'm banking on a good game to close this wild card weekend in the playoffs. Because that's the Sunday night game, right? 8:00. I like the Browns Steelers game. That should be fun.
That is the last game of the weekend.
I don't know why. Mo?
Well, first of all, I need a Blue's clue as to why in the world the Khalil Mack is on Nickelodeon. Okay, that man is not suitable for children. Let me sit down in the thinking chair. Oh, Lord.
Put it in a notebook.
Why?
Clues?
Why?
Blue's Clues.
Why? Let me find out you the voice of Blue. Let me find out. Because I know you don't clock in for anybody else. So there's got to be somehow you making your money. Oh, let me find out, Jerry. Let me find out you got a thinking chair to think in. Let me find out. Ay. All right, my second thing, in all seriousness, looking at these matchups, right? There's a potential for blowout or bout in just about every single one of these matchups. Now, if you would have asked me 4 weeks ago, Rams and Seahawks would have been my number one main card for this weekend's attraction. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really looking at the Colts and Bills. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the most exciting game to watch, because that is a game where you got to be in the lab and you got to see what happens between the trenches. You see it. We're not wearing this for no reason. We're wearing this for a reason. Everything we do got a purpose to it. And it's grown man football time. And this matchup is the first game on the docket. It is truly grown man football style, because you got two teams, their whole philosophy is dominate at the line of scrimmage. Now, the Colts don't necessarily do it in the physical bruising way that the Bills do it. But best believe they can move you. They know how to move you with leverage, with technique, with game plan, with all that. Buffalo's Tyson. Buffalo's going to meet you in the middle of the ring and say, let's throw hands and see who got the better hands and who got the stronger jaw. And I am sitting down for 60 minutes. I don't know if it's a Rotel game, because a Rotel game, you got to be sitting down and eating and making sure you can watch it and keep track of everything. This is a game where I want zero distractions. I'm sitting down with a cup of coffee, a pen and a paper. I might even turn the lights down low. And I'm watching this game for all 4 quarters, because it might end up being 2019. But for the Lab Extraordinaires, when Tuesday morning comes and the All 22 is released, guess where we going? To that game.
See, when you talk like that, talk. Because that's the game I got circled.
Oh,
you know why? Because that's the best matchup this weekend.
Yup.
That's the best matchup this weekend.
Yup.
At the end of the day, if the Bucks lose to FC Washington, no disrespect to Washington, because that defensive line is truly one of the top 5 in football, period. I'm going to be honest. But you ain't got no business losing to them because of the defensive line.
True.
You lose, Bruce Arian better go and chew on some tobacco somewhere else. Seahawks and Rams. Pete Carroll, you better not lose to a backup quarterback. You better not lose to a backup quarterback. If Goff is playing in 2 weeks after a thumb surgery, we're going to call that miraculous. Baltimore, Tennessee. I'm sorry, Tennessee. If you lose to Baltimore,
no,
Vrabel,
I can't. No,
Hey, Vrabel. How did you get in this situation? Hey, Vrabel.
Oh my God.
Saints and Bears. No disrespect to the Bears defense, but the Saints defense is good enough to be able to keep this Bears offense to 10 points or 13 points. If you lose this game, Sean Payton, here's your papers. These papers.
Definitely.
These papers. Shout out to Usher. And then last but not least, the Browns and the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, the excellent coach that he is, will not lose a football game to a team that don't have their head coach on the damn sideline.
Hey,
I just threw everything. Don't you got me effed up if you think that's going to happen. Mike Tomlin ain't losing that game.
No, he's not.
I'm really not.
That game. No, he's not. To your point about Sean Payton, I'm going to say I love Sean Payton. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Sean Payton. However, where my level of respect for him is not quite where you would expect it to be or it should be for a coach of that magnitude is he has been there now for what, 14 years, 13 years? Yes, they won a Super Bowl, but for the better part of the last 7 years, that has not been a championship culture. That has been a culture of complaint and excuses.
This is what they do every year.
Every year. It doesn't matter how talented the roster is. It doesn't matter that they win in 11, 12 games every year. Because guess what? They don't do it when it matters most. And a team like that has to do it when it matters most. And I just don't feel they have a championship culture. The rumors circulating that Drew Brees is going to retire after the season. Hey, guess what? If Drew walks, let Sean Payton go after him. Let him go get a job elsewhere before somebody hires Jason Garrett for no reason. But they got to take care of business this weekend. No question about it.
And before I pass it to Vic, I just want you to know the last part of the show today is going to be sponsored by the P.O. Box, Germ So True. Pissed Off Box, Germ So True. Something in there. P.O. Box, Germ So True. Just let you know, this is sponsored by P.O. Box, Germ So True. So, Vic, I'm going to let you take over that part. I'm going to get y'all next favorite game, and then I'm going to go on my rant here for the last part of the show. So go ahead.
Listen, the Titans and the Ravens game is going to be a fight. Okay, John, I know you don't like some of the things the Ravens are deploying.
A fight.
But it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be running game versus running game.
Baltimore, you know the type, loud as a motorbike, but wouldn't bust a freight for a fruit fight. True story.
Jerm, so you're telling me
motorbike,
you're telling me
bust a grape in a fruit fight. True story.
You're telling me
they
you're gonna be
99
surprised?
Problems, but Lamar ain't one.
So you're gonna tell me you're gonna be surprised?
I got
if the Titans
99 problem, but the Ravens ain't one. Hit me.
Ravens could easily get 250 on that Titans defense.
Okay,
and you know this.
And a loss.
And a loss? What you mean a loss? They could run them out the damn stadium. They lost to the Packers, man.
Can I ask you a question? That's not,
Jerm. That's a game that the Titans could lose.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Can the Ravens stop the Titans from running? Is the question.
Better than the Titans could stop the Ravens from running.
You better, Vic. That's how I know you didn't watch the film. I know you didn't watch the film. I know you didn't watch the film from that game because me and Mo watched the film from that game. And you know what we seen? We seen the linebackers from the Ravens getting punked, getting beat to angles and everything by Derrick Henry. Not by the offensive line, by Derrick Henry.
What was the numbers on both sides? What was the numbers on both sides?
Talking about
Mo, I'll let Mo take this over for a second here.
Leave the numbers
I'll
alone.
save my energy.
Okay, leave the numbers alone. We talking about blowout versus bust, right? If there's any game that's got the most potential for a blowout versus bust, it's this game. It's Baltimore versus
on whose side?
Tennessee blowing out Baltimore.
What?
Oh my goodness, yes. Baltimore is not blowing out Tennessee if they try.
Bro, I'm gonna have to take the Baltimore side of it. Where's my Baltimore people at?
Well, you could stay on the B side while me and Jeremy with the A team, okay? Because if you didn't know it, Titans are alphas and historical figures, okay? Pull that in your thesaurus, Mr. Victor. You're talking about a team. You're talking about the Bills who want to meet you in the middle of the field. The Titans are waiting for you in the middle of the field.
Don't make me use this box on you, Vic.
Bro, the Titans are going to run all over Baltimore.
We'll see.
Nobody's running over the Colts. Nobody's running over the Colts, and nobody
we
is
expected,
crash.
bro. We expected Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans to run all over the Green Bay Packers, and they ain't do a damn thing.
Well,
Okay, they got 98.
Green Bay is a
they
different
got-
team, bro.
Listen, they got 98 yards based on volume. Is what they got 98 yards off of. It's
You're
not
not
gonna
wrong
happen.
there. You're not wrong there. What'd you just say?
It ain't gonna happen this week.
Exactly. They're gonna
It
run all
gonna
over.
happen.
They're gonna run through Baltimore. I'm not saying they're gonna blow them out. Don't get me wrong. I'm still expecting a competitive game. I expect
is
all
not.
6 because Germ has valid points for that. I expect all 6 of these games to be competitive. Just the nature of what we've had this season
Oh, of course.
and how well these teams match up. Because even Buccaneers and Washington, big game special. So I'm coming with a big game prediction. Shout out to KG and Big Shot. But all I'm saying is all 6 of these games, there are interesting matchup styles and matchup clashes.
Yes.
And that what do styles create?
Fights.
Cause
like the Colts and Bills, right? The Colts easily got the best offensive line in football right now.
yeah,
Top 3 if anything, right?
They're not
And
the
then
best.
now-
Because the best offensive line of football, actually, Vic, using your PFF, the PFF tools that you like so much, is the Cleveland Browns.
I said top 3.
You
I
said
said top 3.
you better
I said
retract
top
your
3.
statement.
I just said top 3. What you talking about?
I just said top 3.
I don't know why
Anyway.
we feel like igniting Vic tonight. I don't know what the.
Anyway, Jonathan
I'm yelling
Taylor,
at him every time I get a chance. Vic.
Jonathan Taylor has been hot. So now you got a situation where is Phillip Rivers gonna hold back that Colts football team overall? Because it seems like everybody else is ready to play. So bro, that's an easy almost 200 yards that the Colts could get on the Bills this week too.
I got a question for the class, and it's about to be disrespectful. And Germ's about to go on Vic's side.
Look, Dennis just got here now. Incredible.
How do we know Josh Allen is not going to hold the Bills back this weekend?
MVP Josh Allen.
Mo.
MVP Josh Allen.
Sir, can I say something?
Yeah.
What did I say about 3-4 weeks ago? And you was like, yeah, Germ, talk that talk. I said, we got to see if this Ferrari that we have as a quarterback can get out the tracks in the snow.
Exactly.
Because the playoffs is when it gets in the snow.
Oh my God. Well, that's heat. That's heat.
Oh yeah. I need to see Josh Allen do this in the playoffs.
Yes.
I'm not mad at the regular season. I do need to see him step up this year because last year in the playoffs, he missed a lot.
Yes, he was also really bad throughout the regular season last year.
Vic,
so not like he
Vic,
took major leap.
But that's cool. But I want to see it. I want to see it.
I hear you.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
I got some new information on the Deshaun Watson thing.
There you go.
Apparently, Watson told the front office that he wants Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. And apparently, the Texans have yet to even schedule an interview.
I don't even know. At this stage, I don't know how is that not even like first priority. How is that not first priority? Hey. Whoever the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs should be every single team's number. Jason Garrett to the Chargers. Jason freaking Garrett to the Chargers.
Yeah. There should be more. There should be the same energy they had towards Josh McDaniels. Yeah, go ahead.
To tap the box?
Yeah. Because there should be the same energy they had towards Josh McDaniels. They should have that energy towards Eric Bieniemy. Period. Yo. If not more. Because you're talking about a dude who has really constructed an offense rather than McDaniels, who inherited one and then built it because of the influence of the quarterback. No, rather Eric Bieniemy said, hey, young pup, sit here. This is what we're going to do with you because this is what you do well. And he's like, oh, really? It is? And they're like, yeah, we got you. Whereas that offense for McDaniels, you got a quarterback, a player coming in and saying, hey, write these things down. That's a big difference.
I don't care what Andy Reid's history is, because we know that that was the first Super Bowl he was able to win last season, right? I don't care what his history is. Whoever has coached behind that man should be getting number one interview, whatever you want to call them, options, lineup, whatever the shit is.
Yeah. And hey,
So,
Doug Peterson, Andy Reid relegated to plays to Doug Peterson in spurts. Okay, he gave Bieniemy the full control. Hey, this is
He's a
your
walk
offense.
around.
This is your quarterback. Y'all got it.
Yep. Unless the Chiefs are holding him back somehow,
giving him back.
Eric Bieniemy, I'm saying, like keeping him within, their buildings with all kinds of incentives. And
here's the thing, right? I would be doing the same thing, Vic, because if the most expensive offensive coordinator in the league is getting paid $11 million a year, I'm paying Bieniemy 12. Okay, it's that simple. But because remember, they don't count against the cap. I'm holding back a sneeze because I'm allergic to the Texans bullshit. But at the end of the day, I know Andy Reid. He is not going to keep Bieniemy back from getting an NFL head coaching position.
So then what's happening? Why has he not been there for 2 years already? Been that.
Hey. I ain't even gonna say it, Vic. I ain't even gonna say it. Go ahead,
just to put this into perspective.
We know why.
I'm gonna say this. This last 5 minutes here is dedicated to this rant. I just want y'all to know that if Eric B, shouts out to him, if Eric B and Deshaun Watson, who is now Rakim, and Eric B, they are now Rakim and Eric B. That's what the reference shall be. That better be what I see. I better see Eric B and Rakim again, reincarnated on the football field, period. Because at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson got bars, meaning he got that talent, that real talent. So with all that being said, the last thing I want to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, P.O. Box Germ So True, Pissed Off Box Germ So True, presented by The Scene. All right, Ron Rivera. Now, let's get this out the way. Now, Mo, I love you, my guy. I love you. You're my guy. My number
you too, Jerry.
But this
I'm gonna stay out of this one. I'm gonna stay out of this.
But this narrative of Ron Rivera being this savior for the Washington football team, let's slow down. Let's slow down. First thing, this man has 3 winning seasons as a coach. That's number one. Three. His best years were years, ironically, that Cam Newton performed well. Now, with that being said, this man ran Cameron Newton into the ground. You drafted Christian McCaffrey and you drafted Curtis Samuel in the first and second round in a draft that you didn't have to draft 2 players who do pretty much the same thing. You pretty much drafted 2 running backs and told one of them they had to be a receiver. That is still the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't understand that. You come in this year. Now, I understand Haskins is young. I understand he's a young, dumb idiot for some of the things that he's doing. I understand we got a global pandemic going on right now in the world. Now, let's take that and put that aside. He came in day one and basically took a crap on this kid's dreams as being the starting quarterback for this franchise, knowing that they didn't have much to begin with. Terry McLaurin, who me and Vic scouted, me and Vic both said he was better than where he was drafted. This kid is now their best player on offense outside of Antonio Gibson, who is a rookie. We have to understand that they don't have much. They're not scoring or lighting up scoreboards with Alex Smith either.
No, they're not.
They're scoring 20 to 24 points consistently a game. Yeah. What we're not getting ready to do is we are not going to walk around and act like he's some damn football savior, because he's not. He is an average football coach at best. And he has one thing that goes for him, and that is that some of his players, especially his big name players like Luke Kuechly, have loved him.
Yep.
And I'm not mad at those guys, because what is Ron Rivera first? He was a player. He was a part of the 85 Bears defense. If there's one position he can relate to, it is the linebackers. if there is one position he will be able to relate to, if it's one side of the ball that I expect him to be doing an excellent job on, what side of the ball is that? It's defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They never fixed their secondary. That's number one. Number two, they never got the proper talent around Cam to fully utilize his skill set. In the MVP season, you're telling me jet sweeps and jet motions got them to the Super Bowl and Cam having an unreal year? Exhibit A. This is why John Harbaugh is a better coach than most people will give him credit for. Shouts out to the sorry people of Ravens Nation who say they got to get rid of him. And yes, I called you out. You went and you made sure that you got this kid, Lamar Jackson, everything he could possibly utilize in order for him to be successful. And that is why this team has been consistently winning. They've won 10 games now 2 to 3 years in a row, and you have an MVP quarterback who probably, even in that situation, was not the MVP that season due to another guy, but he won it. So give him his credit. Shouts out to you, Lamar Jackson. But at the end of the day, we're going to call it what it is. You don't build a team around the personnel like your quarterback unless you have to. And you did not do that.
Mm-hmm.
You did not do that. So I don't want to hear he's a savior for FC Washington until he shows me something. You need to go out and you need to build this team. You got the draft capital to do it. You have everything pointing in your favor. Get it done. Then I will put some respect on your name. But until then, you are average at best. Close your mouth. And now you still got to find a franchise quarterback because Alex Smith ain't going to be there more than a year or two. And that, my friends, is P.O. Box, Germ So Drew, Pissed Off Box, presented by The Scene. Fellas, final thoughts for the evening.
I just got a notification that your package has been delivered on the front door. You even rang the Ring doorbell and said, "Hey, I'm here. Look here, Germ. You know I'm an advocate for Ron Rivera, but I cannot disagree. As a matter of fact, I agree with everything you just said, because at the end of the day, he's an average coach who's a great leader of men. And he has been put in a situation where you got Alex Smith and knows how to win games. And again, I told y'all I'm going to remember his name from now on. Jason Wright, the youngest team president in NFL history, happens to be the first team black president of an NFL team, has absolutely transformed this team. And Rivera has just been somebody who's to the top of the boat with the anchor, doing all the good stuff, looking out for the icebergs and whatnot, and they ain't sunk yet. Go ahead, Vic.
I don't have much to say on Germ's rant. I think he's been a little harsh, but that's just how Germ is. I'm just gonna ask him, you're already counting them out for this weekend?
Who?
FC Washington.
Man, the Bucks better put up 40 on these dudes. They don't got nobody in the secondary that can hold any of these receivers for 3 seconds. And Brady gets the ball out at 1.5. We're going to see screen passes. We're going to see quick throws, quick slants. You better Robert technique galore this week, and that ain't going to work. As soon as that other safety comes down, we got them going deep. Don't play game. Don't play with the don't play. You need to be able to score. You need to be able to score. I'm asking you this question, Vic. Can the Washington football team score 24 points and stop this team from scoring 30?
Nah, the only chance they got is number 99 and number 90, dog. That's the only chance.
And that's if they can get sacks and they turn them into points. If you don't score points, it don't matter if you get 20 sacks. If you don't get no damn points, it don't matter how many sacks you got in the game. You can set a franchise record in sacks and still lose a game. We've seen the Philadelphia Eagles do that. Shouts out to those bums. Now, with that being said, you guys, I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest. Powder on my chest, powder on my chest. But now, that being said, man, look, I would love for you guys to make sure you guys check it out. Check out the show that we're going to be doing tomorrow night. We got a national championship preview with some of the Ohio State, Alabama Crimson Tide fans from The Scene. We're going to go over the game, talk about some things, ask some questions, have some fun, be petty. And then, of course, we got the Saturday and Sunday show. We'll be back to preview the week. That's the slate of games for before every actual game this week. Not every game like that, but you know how we do. Come and break down the three game schedules. Fellas, thank you again. I want to make sure we get final thoughts, Vic.
Yeah.
And then we'll close it out.
I just want to say Saturday, Sunday, we only got 3 games for each of those shows, but we are going a full hour because we are going to show some plays. We're going to have some lab breakdowns. It may not go a full hour, but we got a full show. So Saturday or Sunday is not going to be no 20-minute, 30-minute show. Make sure you got your breakfast, your coffee, whatever you need, because there's only one pregame show you need to watch, and it's on the scene. Make sure you there and not behind. Go ahead, Vic.
No, I mean, shout out to everybody. I think we had up to 18 viewers today. Shout out to everybody who's supporting us. Appreciate it. Love y'all. Everything. Let's get ready for this weekend. Should be fun.
And hey, again, shouts out to the weekend. Cheers to the weekend. We're going to have some fun. Again, man, views from the 22 live on the scene, the.scene on Instagram, scene underscore the on Twitter. And then, of course, make sure you follow in the channel. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your uncle and the auntie, because they watching Slaw ESPN, and this is better. Trust me, I can tell you it's better because I work here. Now, with that being said, if you want more of those hot takes, make sure you tune in. Views from the 22 live on the scene. Germ So True signing out from Views 22. See you next week. See you at the end of the week.
2-2, baby.